Hey everybody, Phoenix Flight coming back again. Apologies on the last video for having music a little too loud. I fixed that this time around. I did a test recording, it sounded fine, so should be good to go this time around. So these are always one take right off the dome here, so bear with any janky video production stuff as I'm figuring this out. Anyway, we got ourselves a new replay review. We got the Pure Silence on the Mechabellum Discord looking for some feedback on his game. This is approximately a 600 MMR level match we're about to view. He didn't have any specific questions for this one, just that he said that he made, and I quote here, looking for feedback on how to improve. I seem to have made all the wrong choices in the beginning here. So we'll see what those wrong choices are and see what feedback we have for him. So Silence here as our protagonist is playing as Rhino Spesh, so he's not going to get anything special coming until round 4. Going up against Brook here, playing as Fire Badger Spesh, who will get his Fire Badger round 2. So an issue I'm seeing with round 1 here is we saw that the enemy here is starting with sledges and arcs. The problem with sledge arc for you is the fact that sledge and arc are really good chaff clearers in the early game. So getting too much chaff is actually kind of a problem because you're just going to feed all these units over here. You do have the right idea of having late crawlers in the back. You just don't need them round 1. You needed some sort of chaff clearing unit of your own because storm crawlers are not effective chaff clear against crawlers given the crawler speed. So the crawlers are going to come in, the storms are going to shoot at them, and the crawlers will have already passed the storms by the time that they land. So in this situation, instead of crawler in the back, given you started with fangs, you probably should have gone maybe arclight, maybe around here near the storm crawlers, so that if the crawlers get near, the arclights are right there to take out the crawlers in the dead zone of the arclights. And you don't necessarily need to commit to arclights long term, you just need them early on as chaff clear. Alright, so let's see how this round turns out. As for the fang positioning, it's fine. And the storm positioning is a safe spot too. Like, it's nothing like egregious. It's just like, look at the crawlers. They're just gonna get wiped out by the arc lights and sledges early on here. And now these crawlers are gonna get in deep and wipe out the storm crawlers. So we'll speed up round 1 here. Not too much to take away. Again, you do have the right idea of getting late chaff. I mean, at the 600 level, the idea of having a second wave is great. It's just this was too early for it. You can't have everything right away. Alright, let's take a look at these in depth here. For the first drop, anti-interference, too early to know if it's going to be of any use. Extended range arc light would be awesome for you. So you could place an arc light maybe here and here. Maybe even a third one in the middle if you anticipate more chaff coming. And then they'll have the additional range. And then the only thing with ER Arclight is you're going to be using them as primarily chaff clearers, not necessarily carry units given the reduction in attack. But if they're shooting crawlers, they're going to be one-shotting them anyway if they're equal level. So highly recommend extended range arcs. Mass-produced Scorp could be a play here as well. You could go mass-produce Scorp here and here, and maybe eventually give them range, and that's a really good sledge counter, and also counters the Fire Badgers and Arcs pretty decently as well. That's also a really good option, but then it also means you have to unlock the Scorpion and start building them, and they're really expensive in the early game, so I wouldn't hate it. Improved Wasp. Well, he has no anti-air, so you could do it. It's just, I feel like it's just a little too early to want to commit to Wasp. Because, I mean, if you're doing improved Wasp, you're kind of showing your hand that you're going to be building many Wasps because you want to get advantage. Same thing with mass produce. Advantage is because they're so cheap. So let's think about it from your opponent's perspective. Anti-interference too early. He probably goes extended range arc just because he's got 3 of them on the board already, and he'll keep them back. So then the sledges in the front kind of tank for them, no pun intended, like eating shots. Arcs stay behind and stay safe. Mass-produced Scorp doesn't make sense for him. You don't really have units that would benefit from a Scorpion to attack. And then improved Wasp, it's doable, but you already have Fangs. So you have at least some anti-air to discourage it. So I would anticipate ER Arclight as by far the most likely option. Okay, so he's actually going to skip. What are you going to do here? You also skip. Okay. I mean, I don't hate it. I just would have preferred mass-produced arc or extended range arc. I think would have been better. Crawlers behind the tower. It's kind of what I was saying earlier. You see that he had a lot of chaff clear, and you're building more chaff. You do need crawlers behind the tower, but just not right now. You need them later. You need chaff clear of your own, which you do with this arc. You'll need another arc for sure next round. And I mentioned this in pretty much all my videos with these lower MMR games. Crawlers behind the tower, you typically want to go horizontal. Reason being is if there's a flank that comes down, a vertical pack of crawlers, all of them will go attack it. If it's a horizontal pack and a flank comes down, what will happen is a portion will go attack it while the other portion ignores it and goes straight. So then you're not totally exposed. Don't necessarily hate the extra attack. You didn't really have anything else to spend your money on, so you might as well get something. I don't think it's going to change any breakpoints this early, though. So yeah, you would really benefit from like a marksman unit. You'd probably want to go like another arc on this side, and then you need either marksman or phoenixes would be amazing here, given he has no anti-air right now. So if you go into Phoenix's next round, you could get into a situation where if he doesn't make any anti-air, you just steal the round no matter how poorly the rest of your other units do, which is just such a backbreaker when that happens. It just kind of steals the momentum. But let's take a look at what we got here. Okay, ER Arc comes out as an option again. Seth certainly would want to consider it, especially now that you have an Arc Light on the wing. Actually, good positioning on the wing, given you saw the crawlers are on the edge here, so nicely done. Let's take a look at the other options here. Missile Strike could be okay. It's a weird spot for Stormcrawlers. But yeah, you could put a Missile Strike right around here, and that could do some work. Portable Shield, you don't really have a unit that has a lot of HP that would benefit from it. Smart Marksman intrigues me. Marksmen are great into the Badgers, the sledges, and the arcs. So you could go for like a marksman spam and give him range. But in my opinion, I think you would be best off going into the extended range arcs, throw down another arc, and then a first set of phoenixes here to put them directly across the sledges and the Badgers. So, but we'll see how this goes. Opponent, or he goes for the smart marksman. Yeah, he didn't have a marksman style unit on the field yet, so I can see why he would benefit from it and go into some marksman. Except he buys more Stormcallers for now and has it a little asymmetrical, but so be it. You go for Missile Strike. I don't hate it. I just think you'd have more value from the... I don't like where you're placing it. Take a look here. I mean, the Fire Badgers are 10 meters a second. They might get clipped by it, unless you're doing this in anticipation of like barriers coming down, but I feel like it's too early to throw down barriers for something like this. I don't think that's cost effective. I like the marksman coming on this side, but then if you were going marksman, why didn't we go smart marksman when it was an option? I don't understand. You'd get more value from him that way. Also, if we're going to have marksman on this side, we need to get an arc light over here to clear the crawlers that are coming in. We don't want these marksmen wasting their time on crawlers. We need them to focus down the badgers and sledges. So we really need an arc light over here to help clear that up. Stormcallers in the middle, I don't hate it. It's kind of whatever. You just don't want to be reliant on Stormcallers. Like, it's... Let me put it this way. It's nearly always good to have a few Stormcallers. You just don't want to get so many Stormcallers that your enemy starts to counter them with AM options and just completely nullify them. You want them to be annoying, but not bad enough to justify making him do something about it. Unless your strategy is to make him do something about it, and then you counter in other ways, like going air and whatnot. Anyway. So, Missile Strike did okay. I mean, you took the high tempo option with the Missile Strike, so you should win this round, I would hope. It looks like it's going to be a draw. Yeah, it's an exact draw. Alright. Not ideal when you had a high tempo option. Okay, Rhino coming down this turn. Curious to see how you're going to use this or if you're going to sell it. Also a drop round, really interesting. Alright, so taking a look here. Wasps, there's no anti-air for the enemy, so an air unit would be pretty devastating for him to deal with. Tarantula could be an option for chaff clear. If you put one maybe like there and over there. But it wouldn't be my #1 pick given he doesn't have a ton of chaff right now, so you could punish that with, say, a Sabertooth. Sabertooth directly across from the sledges and the badgers could be really good. So like either here or here, like right in front of your Stormcallers, could be pretty good for a big saber. It also gives you the option to go into the anti-missile tech on it if he goes into more Stormcallers. Or if you want to be a little risky, you could go into field maintenance right away. So then a level 5 saber that's self-repairing, that's just a lot of HP for your opponent to deal with, and he just doesn't have anything on the field that could hit a level 5 saber with self-heal hard enough right now. That would pretty much force out like a Scorpion with acid or melting point or something big to deal with that. Farseer. Farseer would be good if you're anticipating Wasps, and you go like Farseer in the back and each side, so that would shut down any Wasp flank plays that opponent could try, and then also becomes like an assisting unit later. So I would say, yeah, I would say Farseer is kind of like in the back is like a safe, boring play. Wasps in the back would be a pretty good play as well. Just given the opponent has no anti-air at the moment, especially if you don't think he'll go Farseer. Saber in the front with self-heal is pretty strong, but it could get countered hard by Melter. So in future rounds, you'd need to make sure it has enough chaff support. Tarantula would be my least favorite pick. So I would say any one of these three are viable. I would not recommend the Tarantula. Each one has its merits. There isn't like a really obvious winner in this case. Okay, so you go for the double Farseer. Putting them a little close to the middle for my taste. I guess I was saying earlier. I think they're best in the back because their range is so long that they can stay far back and assist. Like they'll drive up here anyway, pretty early. And then when you have them in the back like this, you're discouraging the enemy from trying any flanks. And also, what are we going to do with the Rhino? You're going to throw the Rhino on the side, giving it Whirlwind right away. All right, so we are committed to this Rhino. We can't back out of it now. Enemy going quadrupling down on the Wasps, also pushing for a lone so he can get range on the sledges. I don't understand the range on the sledges in this case. I don't know why he wants to keep him back, but the Wasps are going to be pretty devastating for you. I mean, you do have Fangs, but this is just overwhelming number of Wasps for him at the moment. Good that you're going to do a mobile beacon with the Rhino, so it actually does get in. So he's probably going to get in this round. Oh, now you got the crawlers there. That'll... I mean, the thing about the crawlers is these are level 1 crawlers, these are level 2. If he goes into replicate, that'll basically nullify these crawlers. And I know you have the whirlwind rhino. It's just will just cause a mess over there. But we'll see how this goes. I don't like the crawlers over there. They were just going to go right into the fire badgers and die right away. That was not good placement. Also, great placement of that missile. He really punished you for having it too close. Your storm's too close to the crawlers. You need like a set of fangs right in the front that just eat missiles like that. But okay, I mean, you do have some Farseers to help deal with the Wasp, but I think it's just too many Wasps at the moment. And see now, so he's using the Wasps as almost like air chaff as well to distract the marksman. It's going to depend on how the right side comes out, but I don't think you have enough to deal with all this at the moment. The Rhino flank was shut down pretty hard, and committing into a technology that early is just so risky. I mean, it tells your opponent that you're not going to sell the Rhino. You're committed to it. I mean, you can sell it, it's just that you're selling it at a loss at that point, which most players aren't willing to do, just psychologically, with loss aversion. Alright, options here. Mobilize, battleship. Not great at the moment with all these Wasps that would distract a boat drop. EMP, it's kind of whatever. The only technology on the field right now is sledgehammer range, which I guess it did a little bit, helping the sledges get kills. It's not an amazing pick. But I don't hate it. It's just kind of boring. Additional deployment, pretty rock solid. Just get more units on the field. Like I was saying, you need like a Fang here to eat some damage, and then we'll talk about more units in a little bit. Amp Core, you didn't pick. You don't have a big unit that would benefit from Amplifying Core at the moment. Maybe. If you want to double down and keep this Rhino going, maybe you give the Amp Core to the Rhino if you're going to commit with Whirlwind this early. Let's think about what your opponent might do. Battleship in the back wouldn't really make that much sense given the Marksman and the Farseers at the moment. So it'd be kind of suicidal, so I don't anticipate that coming. EMP, don't have any technology other than that Rhino. Don't anticipate it. Amp Core, he doesn't have a big unit that would really benefit from it, so I would imagine he goes additional deploy. So for you, it's either additional deploy or... Okay, so both players go for it. That's fine. Also, little optimization while we're talking. You'll see this at higher levels. Back crawlers, you're actually going to want to put them right about here instead of right on the edge. Reason being, if, say, Fire Badger flank comes down, the crawlers are just stuck here getting roasted. If they're out over here, you have space for a Rhino or Steel Balls to come down the next turn to counter the Fire Badgers. So, just a small optimization, but yes, you do want late chaff. So, okay, let's see what we're going to buy and what we're going to place. Enemy going for a Scorpion to deal with the Rhino. Okay, you actually sold the Rhino. But the thing is, you already bought the Whirlwind technologies, and you're not getting that money back. So this is why we don't invest into technologies until we're committed to a unit, or if it's a situation where we really benefit from it. All right. Quadruple level 2 Mustang drop. That is certainly respecting the Wasps. We just got to make sure we place them properly and keep them away from the Badgers and the Sledges and the Arcs. And the Stormcallers for that matter. Pretty much all the ground units really counter Mustangs hard. So we need to make sure that the Mustangs stay back. So we're out of money this round, which is what it takes to get 4 level 2s going. But next round, we really got to prioritize getting them range. We need range on these guys so they stay in the back and kill units from afar. We also have a need for a big tanky unit of some kind to eat some of this damage from these medium-sized units. You know, like something like, you know, Scorpion, or if you want to go Giants, like a big Fortress. fortress, if kept away from the scorpions, could do really well. Just something that eats all these little damage dealers would be majorly beneficial. Because right now you have like just a bunch of medium and light units. You don't have anything heavy at the moment, so that's a weakness that can be exploited. Just need to have balance and a little bit of everything, unless you see something you can exploit. Yeah, Stormcaller's getting work done. Storm's outrange marksman, so you should lose this round. Oh, there's one left. Okay, not too much there. Alright, let's take a look at these. What was this? Oh, yeah, Smart Marksman. Yeah, Smart Marksman, and he hasn't built any Marksman, so I don't know what your opponent's doing with that. That's a blunder, for sure. And he would actually kind of benefit from some... it's kind of too late, really, for him to go into Marksman. Anyway, as for... Also, your Missile Strike is off cooldown, so let's think about using that. For you, Tank Production Line makes no real sense at the moment, especially because these sledgehammers have a technology. So even if you're producing sledgehammers, his sledgehammers would beat them in a mirror match. Barrier would be pretty solid if you build the right giant. I would say Fortress would be pretty good in this situation. Like in the middle here, kind of away from the scorpions. And yes, I know the forts have a barrier tech, but this is only 100 versus 500, and you get it right away. Smoke Bomb, it's kind of whatever. I mean, the only units that would really be affected by it, that you could put it, you'd want to put it something like here or here, so it covers the most units. You would not want to do it like this. You'd have fewer units covered that way. I wouldn't hate it. Improved Tarantula makes no sense on this board. This guy has hardly any chaff. 3 packs of crawlers, not great. But he's using the Wasps as like air chaff, basically. So I would say probably... I wouldn't hate a skip either, but I would probably say Barrier, put a Fortress down, range on the Mustangs, then depending on how much money you have left, we'd go from there. Alright, let's see how this goes. Also, put the missile on top of the on one of the Wasps. Or you put the missile back here, and that just gets rid of all the chaff on that side. Okay, he's going siege mode. I don't know why he's going siege mode here. It reduces the attack in exchange for a lot more range and a dead zone. Boats? Boats, and then the tank production. I mean, boats are good against the Badgers and sledges, for sure. I just think they'll get really distracted by the Wasps. I think boats would be better maybe next turn if he doesn't have enough non-Wasp anti-air. I just think range on the Mustangs is a big benefit if you go for it, but you don't have the money for it anymore. Okay, throw down another arc light. Yeah, kind of whatever at this point. I mean, given these crawlers are here. Alright, are we going to use the missile strike, or are we... Oh, there. Okay, I don't hate it there. But we just got to note that the units are going to go this way towards the crawlers. So it may not be the most efficient. It might only kill the fire badgers, or just... It won't kill them, it'll just damage them. Yeah, it's not the most effective way of using a missile, but is what it is. Yeah, see, the Overlords are getting stuck on the Wasps right now. However, once the Wasps are gone, they can just absolutely feast on everything else, so... Yeah, I think if you double down on the Wasp clear by going range on the Mustangs, so they start shooting the Wasps earlier and stay safer while shooting the Wasps, that'll open up the boats to wipe out the Scorpions and Stormcallers a lot faster. They're wasting less time. Alright. Round 7 here. Alright, another unit drop. Double Phoenix, I would be definitely afraid of. Level 3 Phoenixes, 2 packs of them. They can take out Overlords in no time if your opponent puts like Phoenix there, Phoenix, approximately there, wherever they actually fit. That would be what I would be anticipating. Typhoon, you have no need for Typhoon. You've already got Mustangs covering that sort of job. It'd be kind of unnecessary. Again, Tarantula, no need for it. You have enough chaff clear, given how little chaff there is. For me, it's the big Sabertooth would be amazing, especially now going into the field maintenance with the level 6. Because the Scorpions went into siege mode, that reduces the amount of attack. Like, look, it only does 6,700 damage. That's not nearly as much as you would expect for a Scorpion. So a level 6 Sabertooth with surprise field maintenance would be devastating for your opponent to deal with. He just wouldn't kill it. He couldn't kill it. All these like Wasps and Badgers and Sledges, like they just get stuck on it while your units just wipe them out. Opponent, it's got to be the Phoenixes. He'd be crazy not to pick them. He got destroyed by the boats last turn. The boat counter comes out. If I'm the opponent, I go into range on these Phoenixes immediately. Keep them back, keep them safe. Typhoon, I don't understand. You already have... And Barrier, I still don't understand even more. I don't think there's much need for it. This is typically used if you're more of like an aggro player, pushing in, trying to protect chaff right on the line from missile strikes. I don't think this is really beneficial much at all. So how much? Let's see. So it's an 8,000 barrier. So the Scorpion, okay, it's like it can take out like 3/4 of the barrier with a single shot. So it's still not great. Wasps, I don't understand the Wasps either. I just don't. Is it to distract the Phoenixes that you're anticipating? Because you know he's got level 2 Wasps and you've got level 1s. So you know the level 2s are going to beat the level 1s. And level 2 Mustangs will shred level 2 Wasps. Like, Wasps have to significantly out-level Mustangs to beat them by like a level or 2. Like, I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but it's something like level 4 Wasp beats level 2 Mustang. So just having all these Wasps, especially when the Typhoons were an option for the opponent as well. I mean, if the opponent went into Typhoons anticipating this, he would just shred them all apart. So, I mean, I get that the Typhoons are another anti-Wasp option. I get it from that perspective. I'm just saying you already had the answer to Wasps in your Mustangs. They just needed range to really get good. And then if he doubles down on air like he has by going for these Phoenixes, then you just go for range and anti-air attack, and then you're good for the game. His air is probably going to get overwhelmed. And now these Phoenixes are going to feast on the boat. No, and the marksman got it. Okay. This is going to be one of the few players brave enough to send me a loss to review, or are we going to get a comeback here? Enemy going for light manufacturing. I think this is a blunder. We're in round 8. The opponents, from his perspective, his opponent's at 359 health. This is when you just slam your foot down on the gas pedal and just go for the kill, right? Efficient light manufacturing, he's not going to get much value for it if this is the last round of the game, or maybe 2 rounds, right? This is something you pick up in like round, I don't know what the earliest it's available. I think it's like round 4. Pick it up like round 4, 5, 6. It's got some value. Round 8, probably not, right? We're near the end of the game and it costs 300. You have to build a whole bunch of units to get the ROI on it. Obviously this is a bug. It's an oil drop. Oil drop could be okay, especially if you put it in a spot where he like burns his own units. I don't hate it. It just, I needed to see what the other options were. So let me do that. It's gonna ruin the stats on the units because I did that, but whatever. We've got our eyes. We know what's working and what's not. What were the other options here? Let's pause. Haste module, there's no unit. Haste module on the good Mustangs on the right here. Make them level 3, give them range, give them haste module. The Phoenixes and Wasps will be gone in the blink of an eye. I would like that. Ion Beam would be pretty good, like doing it right around here on these middle units. I think those would have been better than the oil drop, honestly. But, okay, we're going for the oil drop. Enemy going for efficient light. With him going efficient light, then you know pretty much for near certainty he's not going to bring out any giants for him to get any chance at ROI. Going for a double oil drop. Okay. Then you go for... Okay. You needed big forts multiple turns ago to be a big unit to take up all the little small damage, which is fine that you're getting them now. I don't like the anti-air barrage because you have Typhoons, you have Wasps, you have Fangs, you have Mustangs, you've got, and even a little bit from the Overlords. You've got 5 different answers to anti-air. You don't need a 6th answer. It's really excessive and just inefficient with your money. You would have been better off. I know it's an expensive tech. Probably Barrier would be a really good option. I mean, the moment that he went into siege mode, Scorpions really doomed his ability to be a giant killer unless he goes into acid as well. But that's what we've got here. I just don't think you needed the anti-air in addition. Also, armors. I'll gladly hear comments from other players on this. I don't know if armor enhancement on a fort makes sense. I would say it's not bad. I'm just talking about just having it as an option here, not that you picked it. I would just say armor is very situational. It's not going to be useful often, but when it is, it could be like game winning. I also like that in the late game, you're going for enhanced range. That's great. I also like that you're taking a loan. You realize that you're on the brink of death, so you have to go all in every single turn just to keep the game going. So that's good on that part. But what are we going to spend the money on? More Fangs. If they're late Fangs, maybe. Okay, late Fangs I'm cool with. I'm cool with late Fangs. You need, yeah, because having some Fangs come in to eat up the Phoenixes and the Marksmen towards the end of the round is something that we were missing. These missiles are kind of whatever, but I get it. You're running out of time. You just need to do something. But see, like, this oil isn't really going to do that much because his units are so slow anyway. Like, they don't really affect the speed. Like, see these Wasps, like, they're gone already. It's like, you already had so many answers to them and the Phoenixes. Okay, like, there's only one Phoenix left. Like, I've seen in a lot of these replay reviews, players around this level not respecting Wasps enough. You're having the opposite problem of respecting enemy Wasps too much. You can disrespect them a little bit more. But yeah, he has no anti-air left, so you've got this for sure. We will have around 9. Okay, round. Also, we need to use the missile. Okay. It's pretty simple. It's nuke. Yeah, I mean, okay. It's either nuke or enhanced firepower on the Mustang that did the best last round, which would be this one on the right. Enhanced firepower does an amazing job with Mustangs. The logic being, you know, it increases the attack by 70%. So you want to put it on a unit that attacks frequently, so it gets that 70% bonus over and over and over again, versus something like a Scorpion, which is shooting once every 6 seconds, right? So it only gets it, you know, if it shoots 10 times in a minute versus, what, hundreds of times from the Mustangs? Yeah, every 4/10 of a second, right? So that's why improved firepower control gets the most value on small damage units that shoot frequently. But in the late game here, it's nuke. Just, you have to do nuke. It's... You have to go for it. Like, when you're down and really low on health, you have to roll the dice. You have to try something risky and just go for it. And you also have to respect the opponent going for nuke to try to wipe you out and end the game right here. So I really hope you go like shield, 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 and just cover everything with nuke from nuke protection. But alright, let's see what we do here. Okay, enemy does the right thing and goes for the nuke. I mean, if I'm the red player, I'm slamming my foot in the gas pedal, trying to end this game now before you have a chance to come back. He puts it in a pretty logical spot. Also, the boat cannot protect itself from a nuke. You put it in a reasonable spot too, so it's going to be pretty much a draw on the left side. It's going to come down to how the right shakes out. What are we going to do with our 1150? Are we going to be pushing? Are we going to be taking temp range, temp speed? Are we going to be throwing down barriers? Are we going to remember that we have a missile strike that we can use on some of these Wasps here that are away from the nuke? Because you know that these ones are going to die to this nuke, so why would you double down on it? Smart move. I love that you use the beacon from earlier from your Rhino play to move the boat out of the way. That's really smart. Well done. Range and EMP. Range I understand, EMP not so much. Do we really care about the siege mode tech on the Scorpion? Is that really a major issue? If anything, you're really benefiting from the reduced damage of these. I mean, siege mode only really comes into its own once you get acid with it. Also, you're not respecting the nuke in terms of these other units. You really should have gotten some shields, and you throw down a missile. So we don't throw down the missile in the same place that the nuke is going to be, because we know the nuke is coming. So we would do the missile, you know, over here, right, where all these crawlers run into it. Because I mean, what are the chances he puts a shield way in the back, right? So you put the missile strike right about here, kills most, if not all, those crawlers. Okay, so we're moving these units out of the way. Also, did you take a loan? I didn't see here. Okay, you did take a lone temp range, temp speed. That's good. You needed that. You gotta go for broke. No issue with that. Well done. Then great job getting the big units out of the way of the nuke. So your nuke's gonna do a better job than his nuke. Just got out of the way in time. So it's really gonna just come down to this right side, which should be pretty dominant with these left side units coming in to assist. There's a few stragglers left that survived the nuke. They must have been just outside of it. Alright, we'll speed this up here. Okay, now it's anybody's game. 359, 367. This is very likely the last round. So we gotta really... This is the do or die pick at this point. Alright, double Wraith. Phoenixes are a great Wraith counter. Marksmen are a good Wraith counter as well. I would not be... Plus, Wraiths are primarily chaff clear, and he only has a little bit of crawlers. Wraith will do okay into the Wasps, but you have so many Wasp answers, you really don't need another one. Opponent would be crazy to go into Wraith as well, given anti-air barrage, boat, Typhoon, Mustang, all good at dealing with the Wraith. Vulcan doesn't make sense for you. Again, he has so little ground chaff that you should be punishing it harder. As for the enemy, he could benefit from a Vulcan, maybe. I mean, not really. He's got the fire badges on the sides, so it wouldn't be as good. I mean, the way to do it would be like Vulcan, and then recruit Vulcan, Vulcan, and then go into like fire bombs. So you have fire here, 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 and then the Mustangs drive into the fire and die, and then that lets the Wasps be dominant because there's so few Mustangs wiping them out. That could be a play, but I don't know. I don't think he's going to think about it at the 600 level. 3 Saberteeth. The Saberteeth would be awesome for your opponent. They would deal with the forts and the Typhoons really well as the Farseers too. I would anticipate that. And then as for you, they'd be okay. You'd want to keep them away from the Scorpions a little bit. But, you know, maybe Saber, something like that. And then maybe give them anti-missile or self-repair. Obviously not quite as effective when they're only level 2s. War Factory, I mean, if I'm your opponent, I just go Acid right now, anticipating you try a War Factory play, or like you pick the War Factory and sell it and build more forts. I would not go War Factory, anticipating the opponent would anticipate you going for War Factory. Enemy going War Factory would be pretty decent. I mean, the only real heavy hitters you have are your boats and your forts. Definitely the forts in particular. I don't think you'd have a really good answer for War Factory if he goes for it. So let's see how this goes, though. Certainly intrigued, especially at the 600 level, anything could happen. Okay, he goes for the Sabers. So he wants to take out the forts. I hate the race. Goes for anti-missile. I mean, it's fine. I don't think... I mean, your storms are doing a little bit. I think it's more so to slow down the boats, given the boats' main attack and the Farseer's attack too are considered missiles, so they can shoot those down. So I don't hate it from your opponent. Opponent just needs more chaff support. He needs fangs in the front so badly. You've been punishing that pretty okay. Late Wraiths / anti-flank is kind of whatever. More Wasps I don't understand. Especially with those options that we saw, we should have been preparing for a big unit to come down, something with a lot of HP. But not doing that. We're just kind of hoping for the best here. This is like a high risk, just hope he doesn't pick the War Factory play. And you're gonna get lucky with this one. Good that you're pushing. Good that you're going for lone. Enemy should push. He should take the lone, temp range, temp speed. Maybe not temp speed, but definitely temp range. But he's running out of time. Still has 550 to spend. Armor on the tanks doesn't matter when he's going into level 3 forts. They're just gonna one-shot him anyway. So I think that's a blunder. I mean, these are weird techs to run. I mean, I get field maintenance and armor together, but AP shells, they're very situational. I mean, I'm not a fan of them for my style. I'm not going to say they're always bad. I think it's more personal preference. I just think Mechanical Rage is like the best technology for sledgehammers, given that it increases the fire rate and their speed, so it makes them really good shaft clears and helps them get in faster as well. But okay, we got this. And yeah, yeah, obviously you're going to take this. You've got just too much air for him to deal with at this point. obviously the Scorpions can't hit air, so once the last of the marksmen go down, it's over. Big forts coming up huge. They just wiped out the sabers and sledges fast enough. I mean, the siege mode was just such a huge blunder from him. He should have gone just range instead. He really needed that additional damage by not going into siege mode. Okay, you're gonna come back from this one. Congratulations on your win. Yeah, I've talked about it enough. There's a lot going on in this game, so it's hard to have like a single or a few big takeaways from this one. It's mostly like an overlapping of roles situation. Like the Mustangs would have benefited so much if you had given them ranged. They would have been so good that you wouldn't have needed the Wasps or the Typhoons in the first place, I imagine. But yeah, you did a good job supporting the boats and the forts in the late game. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just like a bunch of minor critiques. I mean, the fact that you're thinking about late chaff at the 600 level shows me that you do have the fundamentals down, and it's just cleaning up all these smaller errors that we're seeing throughout the game here. But okay, I'm going to take over for Hombrook here. I got to do 360 damage to you to see if I could have stolen this game if I were in this position. So let's take over for Hombrook here. Okay, so to deal with the forts, we're going to go into the War Factory. I'm not typically a War Factory player, so I'm not the best at this. But we're going to put it, maybe say over here. I mean, I hate needing to buy chaff this late in the game, but I can. Let's do this actually. We're going to put him in the middle. We're going to give him anti-missile, and then we're going to go. Where's my fangs? He doesn't have fangs unlocked. Let's go fang, fang, fang. We needed these fangs like 17 turns ago. But they're here now. Be a first wave for him. God, let's. I mean, I gotta play it like I'm in this position, not knowing what you're gonna do. So it'd be Acid anticipating possible War Factory or selling War Factory, going into more fortresses. We're gonna go upgrade these guys. We're gonna push temp range. Do I want to upgrade the Phoenixes or do I want? I think I'm gonna go into. Let's go double shot. I'm not 100% sure on this, but double shot with acid is pretty devastating. And then let's just do additional, or let's just do missile, whatever. So I gotta do 360 damage to steal this game. Oh damn, I didn't even know that you flanked him in the corner. Nicely done. Let's see, it's mostly just taking the EMPs out of the game here. Or the Stormcallers in general, I should say. Yeah, maybe I should have... I don't know if double shot was actually the right play, but it might be enough. We'll see. I just need to do 360 damage. It's not the... This isn't the most efficient way of going about it, but it should be good enough, and it is. So yeah, there you go. So just to show what could have been done to counter that, obviously did significantly more than 360. All right, thank you so much for your time watching this replay breakdown of our boy Pure Silence. Thank you for submitting your replay to the Mechabellum Discord. You're more than welcome, for anybody watching, more welcome to ping me on the Mecha Discord under Share Your Replay. And if you are 1250 or below, I will gladly look at your game if I have the ability to do so. I stream on Twitch Mondays and Wednesdays, 8:45 p.m., typically speaking, Central United States time. I love doing live replay reviews as well on stream, so we can break it down together live and get additional opinions from other players watching. All right, thanks for your time. Have a good night. Keep making mistakes. Keep having fun with Mechabellum. My name's Phoenix Flight, and I am out of here. Thank you.